Welcome to Humble Warrior Yoga. I'm Caroline, and for today's practice we're going to focus on building some strength in the hips. You will need a block or something similar. You could use like a large book, anything that's similar in shape to this yoga block, or you could even use a cushion. If you get a cushion from your sofa, you might want to fold it in half when we actually come to use it, because it's going to be going between the thighs, squeezing. So you want some thickness to it. We're going to begin lying down. Keep your block or whatever you're using close by. Lying all the way down. Take the legs out long. Just rest the hands on the belly, closing the eyes for a moment. Just allow yourself a minute or so to settle in and transition from what you were doing before. Deepening the breath. See if you can find that equal parts breathing. Make the inhalations and exhalations equal in length. As you're breathing out, just notice the hands on your belly rising. Just notice the rise and the fall of your breath. And blink the eyes open. You're going to take your block, or whatever it is that you're using. Just bring your feet flat to the floor. You're going to gently lift the hips and place it right underneath the pelvis. So just take your time to find some comfort. I'm going to send the left leg out long and draw the right knee in towards the chest. So we're aiming to lengthen out through the hip flexor on this left leg. If it's a bit intense having your hips raised, you can of course just remove that to the side and do this on your back. So gently drawing back on the right leg. Keeping the left foot flexed. And whilst you're here, you can circle that right ankle one way and the other. Breathing deeply. We're just going to switch sides. Just take your time, drawing that left knee in this time. Flexing through the right foot. And again, making some circles with that left ankle. Just notice if one side feels any tighter than the other. We usually do have one side that feels a lot tighter on our bodies. So you're actively pressing that right thigh down towards the ground. Just really feel the stretch across the top of the thigh. Across that hip crease on the right side. Nice, and then bring both feet flat to the ground. Just gently lift the hips to remove that. And keep it close by to your mat. And draw both knees in towards the chest. A little hug to yourself. Gently rocking side to side, maybe circular movements, just massaging the lower back into the mat. And take the hands to the knees. We're going to start to make some circles. So draw the knees away from you. Take them out to the sides away from each other. circling them back in towards the chest. Keep that going. Try to keep the feet soft and relaxed as you do this. When you've done a few circles one way, take them in the opposite direction. Bring the soles of the feet back to the ground and take a hold of your block. Just shuffle the feet in as close as you can towards your bottom. You're going to place your block or your cushion, whatever you're using, in between the inner thighs. And really use the thighs to squeeze onto the block. Hands go down by the sides. Really squeeze tight. Inhale. As you exhale, lift the hips off the mat, coming into a low bridge. So really squeeze into the block. You should feel the inner thighs engaging, the glutes. Press into the feet firmly. Inhale and exhale, rolling back down. And do that once more. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, lifting the hips back up. Really engaging all the muscles in the legs. One more inhale. Exhale, rolling back down. I'm going to take the block off to one side. I'm going to try that bridge again. See if you can keep all the engagement that you just had when you were using the block. So inhale, exhale, lifting up. Really squeeze those inner thighs towards each other. And keep pressing into the right foot as you extend the left leg up to the sky. You can keep a bend in your knees. Don't allow the hips to drop here. Really keep pressing into that right leg. The right leg probably feels like it's on fire at the moment. Just one more breath here. And exhale back down. Of course we're going to do that on the other side. But as you're ready, inhale, exhale, lifting the hips. Really engage through the inner thighs, through the glutes. Press all your weight into the left foot as you extend the right leg up high. You can probably really feel it in this part of the hip. Hip flexors working hard, the glutes are working hard, the hamstrings. One more breath. Exhale, back down. Just bring the knees into the chest. Have a little rock. We're going to make our way to all fours. So you can either roll onto one side and use your hands to press up, or you can take hold of behind the thighs and rock up and down the length of the spine. Just a couple of times. And then make your way to all fours. And just take your block or the cushion, whatever you were using, place it near the front of your mat. We'll be using it again. Come into all fours. Spread the fingers wide, hands are shoulder width apart, wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees hip width apart underneath the hips. We're going to do some cat-cow, warming up through the spine. So on an inhale, lift the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Allow the belly to drop, pull the chest forward. Looking forward, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, keeping the arms straight. Exhale, round the tailbone down towards the ground, rounding through the spine. Allow the head to drop down. Shoulder blades gliding away from each other. Keep that going with your own breath. Inhale to come forwards. And exhale, rounding back through. Once more. And really pull the chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and rounding back through. come back to a neutral spine. From here, you're going to tuck the left toes, slide the leg out behind you. Just gently rock back and forth a few times, just lengthening out through the back of the leg. And then bend that knee, lift the leg, and you're just going to make some circles from the hip. So really engage your core here to keep you stable. When you've done a few one way, take those circles in the opposite direction. Just making as much movement as you can with that hip. And then bring that knee back down in line with the other, but keep it raised off the ground. I'm going to lift out to the side. I'm just going to turn this way so you can see exactly what it is I'm doing. So it looks like that. So it looks a bit like a dog weeing up a lamppost. Again, only lifting up as far as feels okay for you. If it's here, that's fine. And bring that knee back down. Other side. Tuck the right toes, send that right leg out behind you. Just rock back and forward a few times. And then bend the knee and start to make those circles with the hip. Doesn't matter which direction you went in, we're going both ways. We're going to keep that core engaged. And trying to move just the leg, trying to keep the rest of the body still and take them in the other direction. Bring the knee back in line with the other, keeping it hovering off the ground. And we're going to take that leg out to the side. So keeping that sort of 90-degree angle with the knee. Only lifting up as far as feels okay. And just one more. Take the knees out wide, big toes to touch. Sit the hips back towards the heels. Extend the arms out in front. Just keep a gentle bend in the elbows. And allow the head to melt down. Take 3 breaths here. Really breathing deeply into the back body. Press into the palms, lifting the head, coming back onto all fours, knees underneath the hips. And tuck the toes, just walk the hands out to touch in front. Really press into the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips up high and back, finding downward facing dog. Start to pedal out the feet, and bending into one knee and then the other. Feel free to make any small movements here that feel good. Maybe you need to wiggle the hips. And finding stillness for a moment. Lift the head to look forward and make your way to the top of the mat. You can take baby steps or one giant step. Finding forward fold at the front of the mat. Take a bit of time here to let the upper body be heavy. You can take hold of opposite elbows, opposite hands. Have a little sway. Maybe you like to keep your hands down on the floor. Maybe sweeping from one side to the other. Let the head be heavy. And bend the knees and just grab hold of your block. You're going to place it in between thighs, exactly like we did before. You might need to narrow the stance of your feet a little bit, depending on what you're using. And just really ground down through the feet. So lift the toes and spread them. Planting them back down. Bend the knees deeply, bring the belly towards the thighs. Lift the chest, lift the arms, finding chair pose. So really squeezing the inner thighs together. Bring the hands to the heart. You don't have to sink really low in chair pose, you can be up here. Just work where you're at today. And then standing up straight. I'm just going to take that block off to the side. So we're going to do some balancing. So if I'd have told you this at the start of the class, you'd have probably gone, oh no, that's what I always do when I'm in a class. I hate balancing, it really is my weak point, which means I should of course practice it more. But give it a go, be kind to yourself. If you fall out of a posture, just get back in it. Just keep trying, keep trying. You know, it's something that we work on. Our balance is different from one day to the next. It's just how it is. So I'm just going to face this way for a moment to show you what we're doing, but you should be facing the top of your mat. So bring your hands to the hips. Ground down through the feet. I'm going to take the weight into the right foot and then just peel the heel off the ground. I'm going to externally rotate the left leg and then maybe bring the heel just above the ankle. But don't allow your hip to pop out. So we're not dumping the weight into the hip, we're actively pressing out from the foot, pressing up through the hip. If you feel okay here and you feel quite balanced, maybe you bring the foot to the lower leg. Maybe you bring it to the thigh. Wherever you are, try to look at something that's fixed and not moving. It will really help with your balance. I'm just going to turn back the other way. And if you've fallen out, just keep going, keep trying. One more breath, I know it's hard. Bring the knee back to face forwards. See if you can squeeze it up a little higher. And then slowly with control, you're going to step that left foot all the way back. You're coming into a high lunge. Front knee is bent over the front ankle. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Take a couple of breaths here. Even this posture itself is quite a challenge on the balance for some of us. And I'm going to slowly take the weight forwards. And coming onto the back toes. And if that's enough, you can stay here. Or maybe you can float that left leg up. Coming into a warrior three. Wherever you are, bend that left knee. Draw it back in towards the chest. Lift in the chest. Try not to fall. And then lower the leg with control. A really good shake out. So, it's really hard for me as well. So if you fell out of that a few times, don't worry about it. And do that on the other side. This is my really terrible side. So if you feel like a good laugh, pause the video, go make yourself a cup of tea and sit down and watch me fall. Hands to the hips. So taking that weight into the left foot first and then peeling the right heel off the floor. And you're going to externally rotate that leg. So you can either bring the heel just above the ankle, maybe it comes to the lower leg, maybe bring it up to the inner thigh. And again, looking at something that isn't moving will really help with your balance. Keep pressing out of this left hip, don't allow it to dump the weight into it. And if your foot's really sort of wobbling about, that's just your foot trying to stabilise you. It's working really hard. And mine definitely is. Then bring the knee back to the front, squeeze it up a little higher, and then slowly with control, stepping that right foot all the way back, finding a high lunge. Just take a few breaths here, adjust your feet if you need to. Bring the hands to the heart centre. And I'm going to take that weight forward, so you come up onto the right toes. I feel my glutes burning already. And we either stay here, or maybe you can float that left leg up. Maybe not. It really is a challenge for me. And then you're going to draw that knee back to the front. Squeeze it up high and lower with control. Have a little shake out. Well done. I hope you all did a bit better than I did on that side. Not my strongest point. As you're ready, we'll find in chair pose again. Sink the hips back, arms come forwards. And bring the hands to the heart. Take the weight into the right foot. See if you can step that left foot all the way back into a high lunge. I'm going to pivot that foot down, turn the body to face this way. So we're going to turn our feet out on a diagonal. And then bend the knees, coming into goddess pose. So as you go down, just imagine you're sliding your back down a wall. And again, you can be up here, just come down as far as feels okay for you. And then try lifting the left heel. Place it down, lift the right heel. Place it down. And if you're feeling really daring, lift both heels. Really challenge your balance. I'm really wobbling. And back down. Straighten the legs. I'm going to turn the right toes to face the top of the mat and just bring the left foot so it's parallel with the short edge of the mat. Take the arms out. Shift the hips towards the back of the mat. Cartwheel the arms down, coming into triangle. So try and keep your chest open towards me. If you find that your chest is rounding down towards the ground, just lift up a little bit so you're able to spiral the chest towards the side. From here, bend into the front knee. You can either bring the hand down to the ground or keep the forearm on the thigh. Extended side angle. If the hand's on the ground, you could maybe extend the arm overhead. Wherever you are, press into the feet to come back up. Bring the hands to the waist. And turn the body to face the front, stepping forwards. A little shake if you need to. And do that on the other side. So finding your chair pose. Sit the hips back. Take the arms forwards. Remember all the activation we used when we had the block between our thighs. We're really engaging the thighs here. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Take the weight into the left foot. Lifting the right, stepping all the way back. Finding your high lunge. Pivot the back foot down. Turn to face that side of the mat. Again, feet going parallel. You're going to bend the knees and drop the weight. Lift the right heel. Drop it. Lift the left heel. And drop. And if you're feeling really daring, lifting both heels. And back down, straighten the legs. Turn the left toes towards the top of the mat and just bring this back foot in. Arms out to the sides, shift the hips towards the back of the mat, cartwheel the arms, finding triangle again. Remember to keep the chest open towards the side. Be starting to round the chest towards the ground, just lift a little higher. Bend into the front knee, the hand can come to the ground or bring the forearm to the thigh. If the forearm's on the thigh, just make sure you're not dumping your weight into it, we're just resting. Press into the feet, come all the way back up. Turn to face the top of the mat, stepping forwards. That's the worst part over with. So just take the feet a little wider than hip width, turn the toes out slightly. We're going to fold forward halfway until you can bring the hands to the ground. And from here we're going to come into a yogi squat. So you can absolutely use your block to sit on here if you want to. So you can bend the knees and just bring the weight down between the thighs. Try to keep that length in the spine. Have your hands together in front of the heart space, actively pressing the thighs away from each other. So if that's a bit too much, you can place your block or whatever you're using underneath you and be here. If you can't come down that far, you can keep your hands on the ground. Just bend as much as you can. I'll just show you from the front what that looks like. Try to keep the chest lifted, lengthening up through the spine. If your heels aren't flat to the ground, that doesn't matter. We can lift the heels. You might have really tight calves and they're just not ready to come all the way down. Over time they will open up and allow you to. Hold for one more breath. And then from here we're going to make our way to boat pose. So come down onto the bottom, bend the knees. You can take the hands to the back of the thighs. And just rock onto the sit bones, coming onto your toes. If that's enough, you can stay here. Maybe you can float the shins up. Maybe you want to let go. See where it takes you. Maybe you can work to straighten in the legs. Usually if I try and straighten the legs, I need to hold on to my feet. One more breath here. And then come down to the back. Just draw the knees in towards the chest again, have a little rock. You can circle out the ankles here. Bring the feet flat to the ground. You're going to take the left ankle, cross it over the right knee. Press that thigh away from you. And if that's enough here, you're going to stay here. Otherwise you can draw that right knee in towards you, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh. Stretching out through the glutes and the outer hip. Try to keep the upper body relaxed. And if you need to be somewhere in between, maybe just come up onto your toes. Obviously, the closer you draw that right leg in towards you, the more intense the stretch will be. And release. Just going to swap sides, so crossing that right ankle over the left knee. Just notice how each side's different. This side's definitely a little bit tighter for me. Try to keep that right foot flexed, breathing deeply. Keep the shoulders down, upper body is relaxed. And gently release and unravel. Take the feet out as wide as the mat. You can drop the knees over towards the left. A bit of spinal twist. You should feel some sensation in this hip area. If you want a little bit more, you can take that left foot and just cross it over onto the right thigh. Or unhook that foot if you had it there. Engage the core to bring the knees back up. I'm going to do that on the other side, so drop the knees over towards the right. Just take a breath or two to see how that feels. And if you feel like you need a little more, you can cross that right foot over. Breathe deeply into that outer hip. Unravel the legs, engage the core, come back up to centre. Draw your knees in towards the chest. We're coming into happy baby. So extend the shins up towards the ceiling. You're either going to grab hold of the outer edges of the feet if you can reach them. If not, you can hold around the ankles, maybe the backs of the thighs. It's wherever's accessible to you. So the feet are shining up towards the ceiling, drawing the knees down towards the outer ribs. Maybe you want to rock a little bit gently from side to side. Maybe you want to straighten one leg, bend the other. And if you've ever had babies or looked after babies, you're probably well aware that this is pretty much what they do when they're little. And it does actually feel really good. And bring the soles of the feet together, bring the feet down to the ground. And gently allow the knees to drop out to the sides and clown back, bind angle. Just resting the hands on the belly again. Closing the eyes. Start to deepen the breath. Breathe deep into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And exhale out through the mouth with a sigh. Twice more. As you're ready to, taking the legs out long, just take them as wide as the mat, let the feet fall out to the sides, take the arms out to the sides, palms facing up. Just make any small movements that you need to in order to get comfortable so you're not fidgeting during your relaxation. Closing down the eyes. Allow the body to be still. Just mentally scan from the head to the feet. see if you can soften and let go of any tension remaining. You soften across the forehead a little. You relax the jaw. Just gently part the lips. And let the tongue sit in the bottom of the mouth. Release the weight of the shoulders down to the ground. Relax the belly. Really soften through the legs and the feet. Allow the breath to return to its own natural rhythm. To give yourself permission to relax. As you're ready to, start to bring back some small movements, just wiggling fingers and toes, maybe rock the head from side to side. Put the arms up overhead for a big stretch, just reawakening the body. Bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet flat to the ground. Just gently roll onto one side. Spend a couple of breaths here. And press into the hands to come all the way up and find a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart. Bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel for notifications on new content.